We all have to adapt to a new environment, to a new culture, a new language. Of course, I'm a human being, and if people say things like that, you start doubting your decision. America's Got Germans! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Anni. Guys, today we will have a real tea talk about if I would move to the US again with the knowledge I have today. And I think before I can answer you that question, I need to take you a little bit back in time to the point when we decided, or we had the crazy idea to move our German family to the US. So my husband and I, we met 18 years ago. I was 18 back then, he was 21. And we always had one thing in common. Well, we had more than one thing in common, but that one in particular. And that was that we both loved to travel and we wanted to see the world. And I'm still so proud of us that we encouraged each other to do it and to go out there to see the world, even though we were in a relationship and it meant that we had long distance relationships more than once, because after school I went to Seattle, Washington and worked there as a nanny for a couple of months. He went for an internship to Brazil. I studied in South Africa. He studied in Australia. He worked in Portland, Oregon. I worked in Switzerland. So yeah, a lot of times we were separated. And we also traveled together. I mean, we hiked the Kilimanjaro. We went to Africa and traveled 8 or 9 countries. We went to Indonesia and yeah, a lot of different places. And we have so many great memories. Well, then life happened and we bought a house. I gave birth to 2 beautiful children. But whenever family and friends ask us how we picture our future, we would always say that we can totally picture us moving abroad again as a family. Yeah, and then that was that, and one day, great, my battery died. Well, I'm back. So I was saying that my husband one day, he got the offer from the company he's working for, and they asked him what he thinks about moving to Boston. And when he told me about that, I was immediately so excited, and yeah, I said yes. And I couldn't wait. And I think it also helped that we have lived abroad before to make that decision so fast, and it was so easy for me to decide that, yeah, we will do that. I really think that that helped, that we had experience before living abroad. Well, one thing my husband and I had never experienced before was moving our family to a different country. Before it was only him or it was I, but it was never, 4 people involved. And I knew that we all have to adapt to a new environment, to a new culture, a new language, making new friends and all of that. So I always had that in my mind. And then there were family and friends who would ask questions like, do you think it's a good idea? The children are involved in that too, and they have friends here and family, and I'm sure they will miss grandma and grandpa, whatever. So of course, I'm sure they didn't say it out of bad intentions, but of course I'm a human being, and if people say things like that, you start doubting your decision. And I did it here and there, but luckily there were just a few days I felt that way, and most of the other days I was very excited, and yeah, I didn't doubt my decision. But to be honest, my children were my biggest fear, if you could phrase it like that. So I was always thinking, will my children integrate? And what if they really don't like it? What will we do if they hate it in the US? So yeah, why don't we talk about that part first? When we moved, my kids were 2 and 4 years old, and this might have been a little bit of an advantage because they were really young. But still, as I said, it was my biggest fear that my children would suffer, or I'm doing something wrong. So I was talking to a therapist about how I can support my children. And she basically said that as long as we are happy as parents about the decision and we make them feel safe, it doesn't matter where we live or where we go, they will adapt in no time and they will be happy. And now looking back, I can totally agree. She was right. Honestly, my kids, they were unbelievable, and I couldn't believe how fast they adapted to a new environment and a new culture and new language. And even before, I mean, they moved our entire house 6 weeks before we actually moved. So we were sitting there in an empty house. They moved all the toys, there was nothing in there, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be the first breakdown because some random people just pack all of our things and they don't know what's going on. But they already thought of it like an adventure. They thought it's cool to live in an empty house, and of course some neighbors gave us a few toys and helped us out. But they were like so cool with it. They just went with the flow. And then we arrived here, and in no time they adapted to... Great. Now my memory card was full. I'm such a beginner. But anyways, I was saying that they also adapted unbelievably fast once we arrived in the US. I couldn't believe it. I was amazed, really. I mean, I heard it before that kids are usually adapting a little bit faster than adults do to a new environment, but this was crazy. So we signed them up at a local school. We would have also the option to sign them up at a German school, but we really wanted them to learn the language. But yeah, I was a bit, worried that we will send them to school, and I mean, they didn't speak the language, so how would they feel about not being able to share what they are thinking or what they need? So I was honestly worried about that. But then day 2, I mean, in the beginning I just sent them for a few hours, but day 2 they both wanted to stay longer, and they were like, I don't care what everyone else is speaking as long as there's toys and I can make friends. Isn't that amazing? So I honestly believe that adults can learn so much from children. Because they don't think about it as much as we do, and they just do it. And I'm so proud of my 2 little ones. And yeah, I would always do it again. And I really believe they learn so much. Not only the language, of course, I mean, they are fluent, but I also think that they also learned the ability to adapt to a new environment and new ways of life. And also they have skills like making new friends and to be okay wherever they are, if that makes sense. So I was thinking, was it really harder to move as a family? Hey, you out there, thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. If you like what you see, please leave me a thumbs up, because that way I know what you would like to see more of, or you could leave me a comment. I read all of them. I try to answer all of them. And if you really like it, you could also subscribe to my channel, because that way my channel can grow and YouTube will show this video to more people. And yeah, of course, this is what I'm hoping for. So yeah, thank you so much in advance. I love y'all. Let's go back to the video. Looking back, I can definitely share that moving as a family has definitely some advantages. So, well, first of all, you have your favorite people moving with you, so you're not alone, and that definitely helps to settle in the beginning, to not feel lonely. And then secondly, and I haven't thought about that before I moved here, is that my children really helped me to make friends, because of course through school I got in contact with other parents or through play dates, so it was definitely easier to connect with other people, so that was definitely a plus. And then also I think another plus is that my children are so close, and I think the biggest reason for that is before school started it was only the 2 of them, so they had to play with each other, and I mean, we also travel a lot together, and we got so much closer because we spent so much more time with each other, and that also brings me to my next point, I guess. as I shared before, we love to travel and that hasn't changed. And we travel so much more since we moved to the US because, of course, when you live in a different country, everything is new and you want to explore everything. While in your home country, I think you take everything for granted. And I mean, at least it was true for ourselves. We didn't do as much because you always think, you can always do it, it's always there. But here we know we are just here for a limited period of time and we want to make the best out of it. So we, pretty much travel almost every weekend and we do things we haven't done before. We love it. We know all the places to go to, we know all the parks, and a lot of time we give out advices or recommendations to our friends, American friends, and they are always surprised how much we have seen already. But I think it's a normal thing, like if you live somewhere else, you really want to explore the country you live in. And yeah, that is definitely a plus, and we just love it. Okay, I feel we have talked a lot about my children today and not so much about myself and how the move affected my life, because obviously when you decide to move, I had to quit my job, for instance. Well, no, that wasn't true. I'm actually still with the company I used to work for. And this might be surprising for a lot of Americans, but I'm basically on parental leave because you can take up to 3 years per child of parental leave, and that's what I did. I asked for parental leave, so once we move back, I will be back with the company I used to work for. That's, awesome, I know. But yeah, still, if you don't work for that company, it might look like you slow down your career path, if that makes sense. But honestly, I've never looked at it like that because I always saw a great opportunity for myself to grow, as I have the time to do things I never did before, like creating a YouTube channel. How amazing is that? Or I take acting class and things like that. And I know that this is a privilege and not everyone is able to do it because of financial reasons or for whatever reasons. But for me, I never thought about it like it will slow down my career, but more of like this is an amazing opportunity for myself and just to figure out things. And so far, I love it. As a mom, I often think about ways of how to create the best childhood ever for my children. And this will always have priority. But on the other hand, I also try to make myself and my husband happy and do things that we enjoy. And we usually try to combine the two, which I think is very important, because when I'm happy and when my husband is happy, we can be better parents. And well, a best childhood is very subjective, I think. So everyone has a different opinion about that. But for me, part of it is creating lifelong memories, and I talked about it in my very first video I upload to this channel. And this is very important to me, although this is a bit tricky because you might know that children under the age of 3 usually don't have any memories, and I think only at the age of 5 or something they remember parts. So this might be a bit tricky here with this experience, but I truly believe that even though if they don't remember specific activities we did, they will still remember how they felt and how we make them feel. And because we are happy and we love our decision and we have a great time, I really think that they somewhere inside remember the feeling of being happy. And if they don't remember anything, I still have a lot of pictures and videos I can show to them, and yeah, they can even watch my YouTube channel in a few years. So yeah, I think the last thing I wanted to say is for my children today. Here we go. This is to you two. By the time you will watch this, I guess you're a little older, so hello future you. You're beautiful, by the way. I just wanted to let you know that mommy and daddy love you so much, and We are incredibly proud. We love to see you grow, and you two, honestly, you have been so much braver doing this entire journey than mommy and daddy could have ever been. And I just hope that you keep that in your heart and that you go out there, that you travel the world, that you get to know different cultures, you meet different people. And I want you to always remember where you're coming from, but I also want you to explore what's out there. Yeah, and this was just the beginning of a journey, of your journey to get to know the world. And yeah, I'm so proud of being part of that. Again, I love you so much, and to everyone else out there, I love y'all too. Thanks for watching, and I guess that's the end of my today's video. I hope I see you soon again. Auf Wiedersehen!
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh.